What is going on, you guys? This is Brandon from Comics Kings. Welcome back to the kingdom, or welcome if this is your first time here. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more amazing comic book content. We recently had an amazing interview with Matt Fraction and Terry Dodson talking about Adventure Man. It was me and Stefan Missing Link. That was such an amazing experience. I'm super grateful to have that. We also dropped our spoiler review of the Batman movie, so make sure you guys go catch that. This is weekly wrap up. I'm usually joined with Bryce. However, Bryce right now is on vacation. He's in the car. He'll probably be in the chat a little bit here and there. But we didn't do the show last week because I was celebrating my 21st birthday with the family. Thank you guys for all the birthday gifts. I really do appreciate them. I really appreciate all the love from the community, all the birthday wishes. Those who got gifts, thank you so much. Shout out to my boy Eric for getting me this coffee mug. It's Nelson and Murdoch because he knows I'm a big Daredevil fan, and I'm also a big coffee drinker. What is going on to the chat? Make sure you guys, you're here. It's 8 p.m. Eastern time for the live show. Catch it every Monday. We got my brother Nick in here, Nick Comic Culture. Make sure you guys catch out Nick at Night. That is his Friday night show. Came out Saturday. Dre does non-spoiler comic book reviews, similar to this show, but it's non-spoiler. This one we do spoil the books. We got Jorge Espinoza. What is going on, man? Hope you are doing well. Thank you so much for joining. We got my man Manny Station. What's going on, brother? And we got Tristan. What is going on? First live stream in this channel. Hell yeah, man. Thank you so much for joining. And another mug. Yes, sir. I'm trying to build my coffee collection mug. I only got 2 now. Recently, what I have been reading, because I've been in kind of a Batman craze, I've been reading the Paul Dini omnibus. As you guys can see, I'm about halfway through. If you guys are fans of the Batman animated series, this is a great read. It's a lot of fun. It's almost like an anthology series, but it's all loosely connected to each other. My man Stefan recommended this to me along with one of my homies, Obed from my LCS, recommended this to me. So I picked this up at Third Eye, and I have been really happy with it. I'm about halfway through. Melvin says Moon Knight was his pick of the week. We're going to get into I don't know. Wolverine was okay. This week. Moon Knight, I'm going to get into that in a little bit. And then Bryce says something is off here. I know, Bryce. You are you're missing, brother. You're missing. I'm excited to see you back here next week. I hope your vacation treats you right. I'm going to be on vacation this coming weekend. I'm going to be at Galaxy Con in Richmond. So if anybody's in the area wants to go to the con, let's make it work. And now let's go over some of the books that I got into. Manny says his pick of the week was Punisher and Dr. Moon Knight. But Mighty Morphine and Little Monsters were close seconds. I did not pick up Mighty Morphine or Little Monsters. But I'm going to go back and read that and trade. Venom number 6. This is the Ron V issue with Brian Hitch, who's been the mainstay artist on this book. This book is weird, right? Because the whole plot is Meridius is trying to manipulate all the symbiotes to be under his little brain trust. So he's trying to manipulate Eddie. And in that, he's using Eddie as a way in to get Dylan, because he wants Dylan's powers. He wants the symbiote that Dylan has. This is Ron V's story, who's been doing the gritty work with Dylan, who is a new character from Donny Cates' run. And he has been on the run lately. He has been trying to figure out how to live with the symbiote, how to bond with it, even though his father advised him not to do so, just because of all of this going on. This issue was ultimately really weak, in my opinion. I think Ron V is trying to write a lot of government situations that are trying to hunt down Dylan because of King in Black. Of course, the government now wants to take care of all of that. So I don't know. This one was really weak. I thought the writing was off. I thought this was a weird change of pace from a writing standpoint, but I'm still excited for this series to come out. I know a lot of people have been very against it. We end up learning about this new character who's coming into play. I've never seen him before. He's almost like a red symbiote, but not really. He's going to be throwing down against Dylan in the following issue. Again, I think that's written by Ron V, issue number 7. I'm still on board with Venom because I really trust Al Ewing. I think Al Ewing has a lot of great concepts that he brings into the game. So I'm going to stick with that. He's, of course, mentoring Ron V in this situation. If you missed Manny right here, he also interviewed him. So we've both had our time to interview Ron V and pick his brain a little bit. Let's go back up to the chat, see who's in. Tristan says, the books that I got this week were Amazing Spider-Man 92, Venom 6, Devil's Reign number 5, Eternals 10, 10 Lives Wolverine 4, Strange Academy, Seneca. We're going to go over a lot of those. Killing Time number 1 which I don't know if that came out last week. Bryce says he just finished Doctor Strange the Oath, which is one of my favorite books, right? Along with Strange Tales 110, 111, 114, 15. Yes, I agree. Doctor Strange the Oath is a great read. You get a lot of connection between Doctor Strange and Wong. And of course, the night nurse is in there. She's playing like kind of a not really a pivotal role, but like you really get to know the importance of Wong in this. Wong is the unsung hero of that. We kind of get into the concept of what can't cure magic, right? But it's also like a murder mystery in there, so it's almost like he mixed a little James Bond with Doctor Strange. Marcus Martin's art is fantastic. Yes. All right, yeah, Chet, I'm gonna have to hit that up later, brother. We got my boy Big Herm in here. Much love to Big Herm. Tune in tomorrow for the Amazing Collected Edition show with him and Fargate. They're gonna go over the Omnibuy that they are gonna be pre-ordering, I believe, for the month of June. What is going on? You and Keith will be at GalaxyCon. Let's go. Let's go. I'm so excited for that. And if anyone else is going to be doing that, let me know. Yeah, Fighting the Bikers was dope, but you know, it wasn't the best book of that, but you know, I'm still excited for what's yet to come. Let's dive into another book here that I do want to discuss. This is Naomi Season 2, Number 1, by Brian Michael Bendis, David F. Walker, and Jamal Campbell. So there has been a lot of stuff going on with Naomi in between these two seasons. Naomi was originally part of the Wonder Comics line that Brian Michael Bendis kickstarted in DC a few years ago. Other titles were like Wonder Twins, Dow Age for Hero. Of course, Young Justice was in there. I'm missing one other, but I probably don't care about. But Naomi, since then, figured out her power. She teamed up with Superman in a few issues of Action Comics, teamed up with Young Justice a little bit, and then she joined the Justice League, right? And she became a big time character, which is a little weird to me because now that so much time has lapsed and we've had so much underdevelopment, I think that we should have had Naomi Season 2 before she ever became in the Justice League team, and let alone being like the center part. So this issue is basically recapping everyone who didn't like Bendis's run, because I'm one of those people, right? I would tap into that run every now and again just to see what was going on. It would just be the Naomi show, and when I love Naomi McDuffie. I love her as a character. However, I'm not sold on her being that pivotal of a member of the Justice League team, at least not yet. She hasn't really done anything for me to say she deserves to be the main character there. But however, this is more of a catch-up issue for those who did not read it. So we understand that she teamed up with Black Adam. We understand she teamed up with the Justice League, and now she's back on her home planet, and she's going to therapy to kind of deal with everything going on. This is a big catch-up issue. We go back, we learn about Dee, who is a pretty cool character. We did Naomi for Archives recently. So if you guys want to go catch that, that is also available to you after the video. And she's trying to catch up her friends who, like, all see her now as a big time hero. Her dad is also trying to train her. Dee is also trying to train her. And of course, they have history with the Thrawn-Thanagar War. That's how she got here. And Naomi's trying to move on and address her own rogues gallery that she's developed based off her parents' history and her race's history as well. We see her ties to Superman. She's rocking the Superman t-shirt during her training. Dee and her dad have differences, right? We saw it in the first volume, and we saw it at the end of this issue because she goes in to check on Dee, who originally kicks her out, and she finds out that her dad, plot twist, did something to Dee, who's like this big muscular guy. So we're dealing with more family drama, but I don't think we really have a sense of who Naomi is yet, at least in the comics. So as of right now, as much as I love Jamal Campbell's art, this book was a big recess. I really liked the first issue, the first season, much better. And I thought this would be more of a refreshing course rather than oh yeah, there's everything you just didn't care about in one issue. Now, I don't care about it. I'm going to continue to read this book. However, it is not really on my big list. We got my brother Steven here. Hip Hops and Me Station, brother. It is so good to see you in here, man. Always love seeing you in here. Bryce says, honestly, I read Strange half the time for Wong. Yo. And then Melvin says, Bendis should do a Marvel book. If Bendis went back to Marvel, I don't know what I would want to see him write. I think I'd like to see him do some Iron Fist stuff. I think that would be really good for him. I think Bendis needs to do books that don't matter, right? I think if you give Bendis the big crutch of the universe right now in DC, I don't really think he has the knowledge more. I don't really think I think he has like the knowledge and the love for the characters. I just don't think he has a vision for it right now. I don't think he's trying to write DC like it's a very cinematic Marvel-esque story, and a lot of his Marvel stuff was because he understood the gravity of these niche characters, right? And he expanded that, tied it into a bigger universal picture, and really just showed how powerful some of these characters are and how much story that they have. I haven't really seen that in DC yet, and I don't think we're ever going to, right? I think at this point he's just getting contract titles. Oh yeah, we owe you this. Yeah, we owe you this. Go. That's why we have the Legion of Superheroes versus the Justice League going on. It's because that's part of his contract, and it just doesn't matter. That's why they're not promoting it like that. We got my boy JT in here. What is going on? Good to see you, brother. I also on Marvel Unlimited, which is a great streaming app. If anyone, it's like Netflix, Disney Plus, but with all the Marvel comics, you just pay $7 a month, and you have like a whole plethora of books that go on. I just finished reading Uncanny X-Force by Rick Remender. You had Phil Noto in there. You had a couple other people. You had Danielle Insuna, pronounced that wrong, but I really liked that series. That was also recommended to me by Steph. So much love to him. You got the photo up with Giancarlo Esposito. Catch up with you so we can take it together. Happy birthday, Ron! I'm so excited to meet you back up at the con, brother. It's gonna be a great time. I'm also gonna be going with Caroline from You Promised Me Comics, and then Steven, who's usually in the chats here. A lot of you guys know Steven. He's gonna be there as well. So it's just gonna be like a part 2 birthday celebration with the comic book community. So I'm really excited about that. My pick of the week this week. I'm still debating what my pick of the week was. I really enjoyed Thor. I really enjoyed The Punisher. I thought The Punisher was dope. I enjoyed Nubia. That's the Wolverine, and I think Devil's Reign. But right now, I want to get into The Punisher. This is by Jason Aaron, Jesus Says on there, on art, who also did a lot of Doctor Strange work with Mark Waid. He did some of the early Star Wars issues with Charles Soule when they relaunched that title. So if his art is familiar, that's why. The art in here is very ruggedy. I would say that's like the best word. It felt unpolished. I think there was a coloring issue. Whoever did the colors, which is weird because it's David Stewart, I think completely regressed this issue. And I've never had a problem with David Stewart's colors except for this issue. So it was really weird to me. Chet, I know what you're hunting, brother. I know what you're hunting. The only Brian Michael Bendis books that I read as DC were Young Justice Volume 1, Man of Steel, and of course Naomi Season 1. Planning on reading the entire Bendis Superman run. Prepare to be disappointed. If I were, I would much rather recommend Peter Tomasi's. I think what Philip Kennedy's doing right now is also a very meaningful read. Secret Origin by Jeff Johns was great. We got Rogue in here. What is going on? What's going on, Rogue? I don't think there's a definitive pick of the week for me, but there are about 4 books. I think I'm in the same boat with you, Nick. I think I am. Punisher. So this is a brand new start for Punisher. We've seen the promos going everywhere of him getting rid of the logo, right? And there's a reason why, because he's no longer operating as a solo individual. He's with the Hand now, and the reason why he's with the Hand is so he can get his family back. That's like the plot. Why is Punisher doing this? What is he getting in return? He's killing all of these people, these bad people that they are delivering for him, right? That way it's like awakening this beast. It's awakening this magical mythos that is part of the Hand, which can defy death. And in doing so, it's almost like the Lazarus pit, right? So what does Frank Castle want? He wants to get his family back. This issue does a really good job at recapping his history, because that's exactly what we open up with. We open up with the murder of his family, which we all we know. It's like mythology at this point. If anyone knows the Punisher, we know why he does what he does. We got my homie BJ Kicks in here. What is going on, brother? Much love to you. I hope to see you on Thursday for your show today, for your show this week. I'm excited for that, brother. Hope you're able to come back. I know last week you were busy, but I'm excited for it. I look forward to it every Thursday, man. So we recap his origin, which the reason why Jason Aaron does this is because the Punisher has not really been focused on since Matthew Rosenberg did the title back in 2017. The Punisher has kind of been out of the comics game. He appeared in some early issues of Daredevil, and he recently appeared in Woman Without Fear #3. There's like a little tidbit in the back about it. So as we're going through this, he is in Greece, and there's like these Greek mobsters, right? And they're basically stealing a bunch of armory. They have a bunch of weapons, a bunch of drugs, and Frank Castle tears them apart, rips them to shreds, which was really dope. You know, this issue is like really dark. There's a lot of gore, and he goes to interrogate these people. And the last one he uses machetes, or he uses like some type of blade from the hand, which is pretty unique because usually the Punisher just kills people. He doesn't really like to torment them too much. He just likes to get it over with. He likes to have that immediate closure. This wasn't the case. It looks like they de-aged him a lot, which could be a very interesting plot point. I happen to really dig this new costume. I think it's really, really dope. I know it's not permanent, but we flash back. This story does a lot of flashbacks to how he was able to get with the hand, which is unlike Frank Castle's character, but it's really fitting to this. They put him to a test. They invaded his home, and he killed them all, right? So he was basically contracted to help. Not really contracted, but he joined them. And this whole story is going to unravel him getting his family back and why he's doing this for the hand. But let's not forget the hand's connection to Daredevil. There is a prophecy in which Matt Murdock and Elektra have to take down the hand, but only one survives. So could Frank Castle be the defeat of either Elektra or Matt Murdock? We don't know yet, you know. But yeah, this book really does remind us how much of a badass he is. You know, he really is probably one of the better hand-to-hand combat people in Marvel. You know, he's a very determined fighter, right? He has no remorse for anything. He doesn't really care about human blood unless it's like a veteran or someone of importance, or someone who does good. Because everybody else, people who like abusers, rapists, domestic people who did domestic violence. These are the people that the hand are capturing so he could slaughter, which gives life for the people that are dead, which is a pretty cool story because the hand have always been about cheating death. So, we got Toynomic displays in here. What is going on, brother Station? Hope you're doing well. And we got Sheena in here. Sheena, thank you so much for joining. Catch Sheena with the Gal Squad. I believe they go on Tuesdays or Thursdays, depending on the day. And they're usually talking about Saga, which is one of my favorite stories. I love what they're doing. I just talked Punisher. Yo. So if you rewind it like 3 minutes, you'll be able to catch that. But I really enjoyed the Punisher. I think Jason Aaron, his Conan was really good. His Conan is actually one of my favorite books that he's put out in a long time. His Thor is one of my favorite series in Marvel. His Avengers, we're not going to talk about. But I really enjoyed Jason Aaron as a writer, so this was almost like a return to form to exactly what I know that Jason Aaron can write. And because of his skills as a writer, right, as an author, he makes you care. He makes you want to pay attention to these details. Excuse me. And he makes this book read very easy. It is a very easy read to where you don't have to worry about not understanding the Punisher to the full extent. Like, if you just know who Frank Castle is, that is enough for you to go pick up this book. It is very new reader friendly. And Jason Aaron does a very good job at recapping that mythos, making the reader feel welcome, right? Almost like this is a fresh start. That's exactly what the thumbnail says. This is a new beginning for the character, and he can finally get the thing that he has been craving for the longest, which is his family. For that, I really, really enjoy this book. Let me know what you guys are reading. Let me know how you guys like the Punisher. I know this was high in a lot of people's anticipation. Yes, his Star Wars was really good when they relaunched it. That was also the same kind of new reader friendly. That is an excellent point. I have to agree with that. I think the art on that Star Wars book was much better. I really like John Cassaday. We got Tim in here. Station, my boy. Good to see you in here, man. I still got my milestone compendium to crack open. Once I finish this Batman, I believe that's next up on the reading list. So that'll probably get cracked open within the next 2 days. So we'll be in touch as we are mainly day in and day out. But let me know what you guys are reading. How you guys like the Punisher. Let's move on to Thor number 23. This is by Donny Cates McCline. This is the finale of the God of Hammer story. I really, really liked this book. I've been digging this run. Donny Cates to me is one of my favorite writers. He is making comics really, really exciting right now. Right? I think in Marvel, he is probably the most exciting writer. right? Whether you're in it for like the spec value, you're just in it for a new, refreshing story that is bombastic. It feels like a classic Marvel story. So Donny Cates, everything that he's putting out, everything that he has put out in Marvel has been so good. Even in his indie work, it's been really good. What is up, Rudy? Thank you so much for joining us. Toynomic Displays says, I wonder how Frank was part of the hand and not killing them. They did it right. Yes, I agree. Tristan says he really liked Jason Aaron's Avengers in Star Wars. I'm iffy on his Avengers right now. And then BJ kicks his anybody got line. I did like the raffle. So my shop did like a raffle and I got 6 raffle tickets. So even if I don't get it, it's still going to a good cause as well, because it's all going to Heroes Initiative. We got Bobby Delagoto in here. What is going on, brother? Station. Hardcore Station. And we got Fable, my brother, who just had an amazing show with Big Her, Missing Link, and John's Comics with Kids the other day on the IG Live. Definitely catch out the rewind. Everybody in the Bad Batch, their links are in the description below. Make sure you all follow them, sub them up. Great group of guys, amazing content, capturing all the essentials of pop culture: TVs, movies, video games, comic books. We do it all. We do it all, and we even do music sometimes. We love our music. We love our music. All right, so Thor number 23, finale, Gods of Hammers. Where we left off, Odin died, and in doing so, even in his sacrifice, he embedded Thor with the Odin Force, right? So now Thor has the powers of the All-Father. And that is really unique. In this issue, we start with a flashback of Thor in his early days of training. Nick Klein kind of draws him like that quarterback from Remember the Titans, sunshine, sunshine. If you all know, you know. Or a more modern reference, he looks smack like Trevor Lawrence from the Jaguars, who just overpaid for Christian Kirk and makes him now the third highest paid receiver just to not do anything. But we're learning about Mjolnir and his connection with Mjolnir, right? And how Thor is able to balance that and kind of his responsibility as king to get those answers that he's asking for at such an early age and in his training. That was a really unique way to start this book. We flip to the actual action of the Odin Force and him with the going against Mjolnir, right? He's going against the God of Hammers, who's in there through the power of Mangog, who is a classic Thor villain. This book is also really unique because it changed a lot of what we know about Mjolnir. We've seen so many different iterations of Mjolnir ever since Journey into Mystery. What was it, 83? Yeah. Not 83. Since his first appearance, right? We've seen so many different writers have their different takes on what it means to be worthy, right? On what the hammer represents. Donny Cates is saying it's not really the hammer itself and what's behind the hammer, it's who's wielding it and what purpose they're using it for. In this issue, Mangog is using it just to spite everything that Odin's done. Keep in mind that this whole arc has been a reflection of everything that Odin has done in the past that has led up to Thor's future, right? As a king, right? In order for Thor to succeed as a king, he has to address the sins of Odin. And that has been a really dynamic thing, right? And Mjolnir has been going on a rampage, right? So what does Thor do? What can he do? He calls on Lady Sif to inject the Bifrost to capture Mjolnir, and he sends him to I don't know how to pronounce it. Nidiliviar. I don't know how to pronounce it, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know. It is the planet where the dwarves made Mjolnir. And he traps him there. In doing so, he rips Mjolnir away from the God of Hammers, and then he ends up breaking it. He ends up breaking the hammer. That way he isolates the God of Hammers, and then something has to take its place. Thor goes into a coma because all of this cosmic force has just taken over him. And yet he saved the day. He won, right? Now the God of Hammers is trapped, captured, locked away, right? Classic way to Nevadalier. Yeah. Okay, cool. I don't know what I'm still not going to be able to pronounce that. I've heard it pronounced so many times. This is one of those words I cannot pronounce. Remember the Titans was one of my favorite movies. Yeah, I agree. I love that movie. But yeah, he tries the God of Hammers. He wakes up and his family repaired the hammer, but there are still little cracks in there. Something has to live through Mjolnir in order for it to still be that weapon that Thor needs. He hears a voice, and it's actually his father's voice, right? And there was a really interesting line at the end that I'm going to read out, right? If you guys have not read it, this is a spoiler. So it says, "Keep your eyes open, boy. A king can't rule from his knees." And that's when Thor looks up and says, "Father?" Because his father is now embedded into Mjolnir, right? So this really signifies the relationship. Sorry, I can't talk today. This is why I usually have Bryce here with me. This is why I miss Bryce. This really signifies the relationship between Thor, his father, and of course the hammer, right? Because they've been through thick and thin, you know. His hammer is kind of like that one stuffed animal that's like just always there. But I really enjoyed this issue. This brought out that new dynamic that I really like. You're making me just want to read this run. I have it all. I just need to read it. Dude, it is so good. You are just going to get lost in this cosmic adventure. It is just one thing to another. And if you look at like, there's so much has happened in 23 issues, but it's like nothing happened. It's not like nothing happened. It's like, it's so cohesively written. I've been really enjoying this. Nick Klein's art is fantastic. I cannot recommend it enough. I really can't. Two things I love about the Punisher and ninjas. Now Punisher as a ninja, I'm gonna need that in an action figure. Yeah, unfortunately, that's gonna break the bank. They addressed the new logo. The old vest was sitting there ready to put back on. I agree. Like I said, that new vest is not a permanent solution. But what is going on, Alonzo? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Let's talk about another book that came out this week. I know I've been heavy Marvel right now. I think we only did one DC. I have a few more DC. Yeah, I have a few more DC. Let's go with Amazing Spider-Man number 92. This is by Kelly Thompson. Script by Jen McKay. Art by Sarah Pichelli. Fran Gallen did the art and Z Carlos. So, in other words, there were way too many people in this book, and it really showed because this was the weakest issue so far of the Amazing Spider-Man Beyond Corporation. We are fighting this lizard character who was also mixed with the blood of Morbius. So the Beyond Corporation took Morbius, experimented on him, gave him a way to remain sane, which, yeah, that works for Morbius, but they were also using that to study him and inject it into other villains. So that sucks. You have Misty Knight, Colleen Wing, Ben Reilly, and Peter Parker all teaming up. And Ben Reilly is also trying to find justice for him being set up by Maxine and the Beyond Corporation to do a lot of terrible things, right? Which he thought he was just being Spider-Man. And in reality, he was really not. So he's pissed. And all he wants is his life back. So this was really good in that sense. I thought the art was so terribly drawn. I think like each artist tried to mimic each other and it just did not work. Bleeding through, the action was fine. I liked the Morbius scenes, but I think we really got to see the difference in how Peter Parker and Ben Reilly kind of handle their grief or kind of handle that aggression. Ben Reilly is almost like a loose cannon when he's mad, right? Because when you get set up, right, you're just mad because you feel stupid. And that's really Ben Reilly in this situation. And that is Janine as well, right? Because they understand that they're never going to have the life Peter Parker does. Like, Ben has all the memories, right? Now, he has all the memories as Peter Parker, but he'll never have that life. He'll never be able to be happy. Him and Janine will never be able to stop being on the run. And that is a theme in this issue. I just thought the art was terrible, and I thought that this story was really weak, especially when you look at this cover of how awesome this villain looks. And then you just open the book up and it is just no good. It is just no good. I'm still excited to see how this ends, but this issue was not it. And I've been very high on this series while others have been negative. So I like to think that this was a pretty good judgment of this. We're going to learn more about the fight that's going on in this issue in Spider-Man 92.BEY. So, you know, it is what it is. Keep on keeping on is what Big Herm says. We got this is one of my favorite books on the shelf. I think this might have been my pick of the week. This was Strange Academy 17. The last issue was so dope. I love this book. I absolutely adore this book. These characters are just so amazing to get to know, right? Yes, JT, good call. I forgot to promote this. Tomorrow we're going to be live at 8 Eastern. with Steve Orlando. We're going to be talking about his new X-Men project, Marauders, taking over that series from Jerry Dugan, relaunching it. We're also going to be talking about his new indie book that came out with Tim Seeley. I have read it. It was dope. I've read Marauders. They're dope. So I'm excited to sit down with him and get to talk about that. Manny says, I'm really disappointed, mostly because I have been loving the Ben Reilly stuff, and every time they shoehorn Misty and Colleen and the Peter, yeah, it's just whiplash. I agree. But, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. I think that they're going to wrap up these stories a little bit. I think Misty Knight and Colleen are really just there to either get their asses kicked or to have some sort of gravitation to humanize that book to where you're just not seeing two different Spider-Men running around. Your other one is Superman Son of Kal-El. I really like Superman. We're gonna get into that one too. But let's talk about Strange Academy. So we left off with Doyle and Emily are kind of having a little relationship problem. They're going through the little drama, which is like, if y'all been there, right? Going to a school dance. We've all gotten stood up by a significant other at one point. We also have our man Calvin, who has fallen into some dark magic with a pretty bad person under some manipulation. Is it his fault? Yeah, it's poor judgment, but he's gotten expelled, and that caused Emily not to go to the dance, to stand up Doyle, because she thought she was being a good friend to Calvin, being there for him. She didn't really prioritize Doyle, and that kind of hurt him, right? So now Dr. Voodoo, or Brother Voodoo, is confronting Gaslamp, who is the dark creature, the dark magic user who is manipulating Calvin in this narrative. He's going to see him and basically saying, yo, fuck off. These are my students, man. Like, get your own. Screw off. And this is by Scotty Young and Humberto Ramos, by the way. I did not say the creative team at first, but this is by Scotty Young and Humberto Ramos, who've done every issue of this run so far. It is great. So Gaslamp they're having their conversation, right? And he's like saying, you know, I'm just here for Calvin. What can I say? So we flip back to class, and Doyle just kind of keeps his head down. He's really upset, and he is projected to be like this dark person. He is the son of Dormammu, so there's like a lot of darkness attached to his name. He ends up blowing up on Emily because he's mad, and she's like saying that, like, oh no, it was more important. And Doyle's like, you know, why is this more important than us, you know, than going to this dance? And then other people start getting involved. And then Doyle gets pissed. He's starting to get heated. And then they start yelling, and the fight escalates to the point where they're throwing hands. And Doyle just goes ham on everybody. He just unleashes, right? He is more powerful than all of these other characters combined, which honestly, I agree with Doyle. I'm not gonna front with you guys. I know what it's like to be in that situation where nobody's really listening to what you have to say and you just explode, you know. Late but still here. Thank you so much for being here, man. Let me know what your pick of the week was. What did you read this week? I'm excited to hear. So Doyle is taking everybody out. Everyone in this book, right? He's taking out Eric, Toth. After Alvy, he's taking out Shaylee, Desi, Gus, Jeremy. He's taking out everybody, man. And then Emily sees that that's not really him, right? So they don't like this manipulation, because ultimately this is a downfall of Doctor Strange's doing, setting up the school and using kind of his sins following. Some of his ghosts with dark magic have kind of followed. So they end up leaving the Strange Academy school at the end, and Calvin ends up going back to Gaslamp. So now we have some stuff to deal with. Now Brother Voodoo has to have more of an important role in this series, so we're going to get to see more of him. I happen to really like Doyle. He is not the darkness that people think he is. In my mind, I think Doyle is a great person. He is a great character, and he's not trying to be like his father. However, this one time things don't go his way and he lashes out, they're like, oh, they're so quick to point the finger, like, it's your dad. It's because you have your dad in there. So I'm really excited. I love the way Scotty Young is writing these characters. They are a lot of fun. I think that this book is literally rated E for everybody. If you guys have kids, this would be perfect for them. It's almost like that Hogwarts feeling, but like more of a Marvel take on what would Hogwarts look like. I love this story. This is Humberto Ramos's best work. If you guys are fans of Middle West, I think you would also really like this. Scotty Young can have a lot of fun as a writer, man. Missy Culling Punisher books are all subconscious marketing for the Netflix shows coming for Disney Plus. I don't know if they had that in mind when they threw Misty and Colleen in the book. Ragin, what is going on, brother? Good to see you. Wait, what are my pin comments? I love Devil's Reign tie-ins. Yeah, man. I really like them too. I think the tie-ins have been really strong. We're going to talk about the Moon Knight one here in a second. I have to start reading ahead. Yeah, man. It's really good. It's really good. I think you guys would really enjoy it. Before we get into Wonder Woman, let's hop over to... Where did I put it? Here it is. The Devil's Reign tie-in of Moon Knight. So this is by Jed McKay. Sabantini is on art, which is a really weird shift. Basically, it's Moon Knight beating the crap out of everybody in jail. I'm not really going to go over it because it's not really that important to me anyway. I thought it was fine. I thought it was really fine. But he ends up playing Dr. Knight, which is cool to see his little multiple personalities. No, I want to see Scotty Young write an ongoing series. I would be so down for that. I would be so down to see Scotty Young write a Champion series. Strange, two of my biggest drop regrets. Yeah, Strange Academy and Stillwater. I dropped Stillwater. I'm still picking up Stillwater on floppies, but I'm reading it in trade. Moon Knight, Daredevil, and Punisher are making me want to start picking up singles again. Dude, they are so exciting. If I were you, I would get on them. Now, these are two books that I'm going to talk about right now that completely blew me away. This is Wonder Woman, Trial of the Amazons, written by Stephanie Williams, Vita Ayala, Joelle Jones, Becky Cloonan, Michael Conrad, Laura Braga did art, and so did Joelle Jones. This book was wild, man. So you have all the different Wonder Woman characters in here, right? With Nubia's crossing over in here. You got Yara Flor crossing over in here. You have, of course, Diana there, and you have Hippolyta in here, and we're getting ready to do this little contest, right? But this also turned into a murder mystery at the end, right? Nubia is now queen, so all the other tribes are kind of coming in under this, and there is a huge twist at the end, which sets up one of my favorite books this week, which completely blew me by surprise, and that was Nubia number 6, right? Now, I haven't really talked about Nubia as much here, but man, I really love this book. Nubia is the new queen of the Amazons. Hippolyta died in the Trial of Amazons number 1, and this is the funeral written by Stephanie Williams and Vita Ayala, which was just so well written. This was very heartwarming, and at the same time, they're trying to plan for this event that's going on, but now they're at war with the other group. So this is really great. This is a cool Wonder Woman event. The buildup was so good, and I thought the twist, the murder mystery is so thoughtful, right? Now, the other reason why I'm supporting this book is because Wonder Woman has not had much treatment, right, in a very long time. At least not in this sense to where she's getting a full-blown event. How can DC learn to do this with more characters in need of that spotlight? By picking up this book, making sure that this sells well, so then they continue to do that for other books. So make sure you guys either buy this in trade or pick up the singles. It is worth a read. Even if you're new to Wonder Woman, this does a great job at combining the mythos. It's almost like Game of Thrones type thing. It's almost like an ancient Rome kind of story where you are having those little games, right, where you're celebrating the new throning of a queen or someone in a position of power, but also there's something that's going wrong that we have to unravel, and someone is going to pay. One of these tribes is going to pay, and we're here to figure out why and which one that is. I'm excited for this. I'm really looking forward to this as well. We got Eric the Stash, brother. This is Eric gifted me this amazing mug. I showed it off earlier. It's Nelson and Murdoch, attorneys at law. Thank you so much for the birthday gift, Eric. No, I have not really drank my coffee yet. I thought I was gonna need my coffee this whole show. I was super tired before I came in, but you guys are keeping me doing this, so thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate all of this, guys. Moving on. We got Superman, Sonic Hellel. I know you guys wanted me to talk about this one a little bit. We're going to be talking about this. This is part 2 of the Nightwing and Superman crossover. This is by Tom Taylor and everyone's favorite Bruno Redondo. I'm not going to lie. This book was on the cutting board for me. I'm not the biggest fan of the way that some of the supporting cast is operating around John. I think a lot of this book has become forced, and I feel like we haven't really fleshed out John's character, and we're using other attributes about his character to push the plot forward, other characteristics about this character. If you know, you know. But I'm not going to dive too into it, where it's not really a character story. It's more like this is our agenda with it. And it's not really been addressed properly, especially because when you're putting those features, it's almost like in the Umbrella Academies, you get to know like a lot of these characters before you get to know their powers. And in this, I feel like we're learning about the sexualities and powers of these characters before their actual personal struggles, right? And who they are. So, which I don't mind. Having diversity in comics. I love it. It's just the way that it's done is my biggest thing. You know, it has to be unique. It has to be organic, and we're making decisions in this book that have not really showed that. This issue was really good. This issue was fantastic. So Nightwing is going over to Metropolis. He's like kind of flipping through, almost like he's Spider-Man kind of thing. You know that Nightwing's an acrobat. The way Bruno Redondo draws him leaping and doing all of these acrobatic movement is great. Seeing that energy in this book, I think the art flows really well. I'm sure Robbie would have a better way to explain that, or Nick. But you just get to see like a lot of like dynamic movement in here. It's so great. The energy in this comic is great. You know, Nightwing is interrogating the Trust organization. He finds John, and they are teaming up to get to the bottom of this mystery. A plot point in this is somebody blows up in front of John, right? So he now has to deal with how do I cope with letting people die, or people dying in front of me. So that is the biggest thing in his character, and that's why I love this book the most, is because now John has a struggle. That is not his sexuality. That is not him living in his father's shadows. This is something that is finally unique to his character. He's never really had to struggle since taking up the Superman mantle. Not in this sense, right? Because death is such a finite thing, right? You see it happen right in front of your eyes. That's going to affect you no matter how old, no matter how long you've been doing this, right? Even in Philip Kennedy's Superman Action Comics, at an older age, the way Superman handles death is much different. You can't teach someone how to grieve. That is something you just can't do. You can be there, but their healing process is unique to them. And I think that was really dynamic about this book. Nightwing being a mentor for John for years was a great way to cap this off. Some of the quotes in here that we've seen from Nightwing kind of just being there, right? There's a cool moment where Jay comes in and he sees Dick Grayson and John, and he just kind of freaked out, right? Which is, I was like, okay, cool. I don't really care for Jay's character. I just think he acts very stereotypical, and I don't really think we've gotten to know Jay like that for me to actually say, oh, this is a character. He's more of a plot device rather than an actual character, in my opinion. So him being in this book a lot less is the strength of it for me. We end the story with John kind of learning how to move forward, right? With the fact that he doesn't necessarily have to live up to his father. He doesn't have to do any of this. Now, Gamora, they are framing him, right? So Bendix, the leader of they are framing him, but now Nightwing is there, right? He's like, you're not alone. We're here. And that's obviously Jay being there, him being there, and then his mom, Lois. This was a good book. This was a good book. What continues, I'm not sure. I'm going to give it one more issue. Now that we actually have some growing experience. Got to bounce. I haven't read it yet. I'll be back. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, I know we do spoilers here. Just got all of Something Is Killing the Children for those there 30 books. House of Slaughter to get signed. Yeah, I got to dig up some of my books as well to prep. Yeah, not that there's anything wrong with representation. I'm all for that. But, you know, the way that this issue was done, or the way this book has been done. I got a few more books. Actually, I think I only have 2 more books to talk about. Actually, three. I kind of count these as 2. We got the Lies and Deaths of Wolverine. Let's go with Lies first. So Lies is the story that we flash back in time to deal with Logan and his past, so that he's protecting Charles Xavier. We have an Omega Red that we don't know how he jumped back in time to haunt Wolverine's past. The X-Men go into panic mode, and they send Wolverine back in time as well to combat this. The Rising arc begins the next issue. Yeah, I'm going to be reading it. I'm going to be reviewing it as well. And by the way, if you guys do like these reviews, make sure you guys leave a nice little comment in the comment section and give this video a thumbs up. Share this out to a lot of your friends so they can also be a part of this live chat. This is one of my favorite parts of the week, is getting here and talking to you guys. So if you can help us out in return by doing that, that would be fantastic. So we are in the past now. We are dealing with the Weapon X, right? And we're seeing Dr. Cornelius getting overtaken by the Omega Red, and then we're seeing of course him in the Air Force, him in Colombia fighting Sabretooth. Now a lot of this is almost a repeat. We see some symbiote getting taken over. So no matter where Wolverine is going, we're seeing Omega Red just being there to haunt him so that he cannot protect Charles Xavier. What was really cool is we finally learn at the end of how he gets there, right? He gets there because when Omega Red goes to take over Wolverine, Black Tom Cassidy appears in front of Charles Xavier back in the present, which is really dope. He's like, haha, what's going on, bitch? And kind of drops that on him, which was kind of dope because now we understand how Omega Red is getting sent back in time. It's because of Black Tom Cassidy. So now we can finally see that, where that goes, excuse me. Haven't picked up any books this weekend last due to my car issues, but I'll be catching up on everything once it's fixed. Yeah, man, no worries. And I hope this video helps you kind of stay in the loop so you can have this conversation with other people. And then we got Dessa Wolverine number 4. This is Ben Percy, Federico Vincentini. The previous issue was drawn by Cassara. This is the big issue. This is the big issue that everyone's been talking about in the X-Men world. So we have this Omega Wolverine with the phalanx powers. Now, the phalanx powers was almost like a fail-safe for mutant kind if, like, all things go to hell. Forge gives him a stone, right? Like a fail-safe to travel back in time to fix everything that's going on because Myra is basically going to exterminate them, right? And so in our current present with Myra being on the run, she ends up going back to Krakoa while this Omega Wolverine and the other Wolverines, Laura, Scout, Dakin, they're on his tail. So we're learning more about that. We're learning more about how Myra's staying undercover. She goes back to Krakoa and she overtakes Banshee, which they used to be together back in the day, which was like kind of like Myra has just gone full-blown villain, right? And Destiny understands that, okay, Myra's gonna come back. She's gonna be back here. So what can we do? Myra ends up trying to steal the gun so she can give herself her mutant powers back, because she was either gonna be the savior mutant kind or she was gonna be the one that killed it. We are learning that she is going to be the killer, and Destiny, Mystique, and Moira are all to blame for all of this nonsense going on. So cool little Easter eggs as we go back to the Hoxpox storyline of the Phalanx, and Myra ends up hurting this Omega Wolverine who meets up with them, and he ends up going ham, right? Because now the Phalanx is taking over, and he's just gonna wipe people out. He's gonna go berserk. She did Sean dirty, man, because she's like, your life is irrelevant. My life matters because I can't die again. If I die again, it's over. This lifetime is over. So not only do they have to protect Moira, they can't really kill Myra, but they also need to contain her. But there's also some mutants that want her dead because they don't necessarily understand everything. And I think Destiny has the biggest handle of this situation, right? This Omega Wolverine was from the future, so he has seen all of this unravel, right? So we end this with the Phalanx taking over Wolverine, who is just going to go ham. We see Myra on the ground. We see Destiny kind of needing to step up now. So now, will Destiny protect Myra? We have yet to find out. I think this next issue of Destiny Wolverine is going to change the game. This has been the sequel to Inferno. I've been really enjoying this. Again, I'm still hanging true to what I've been saying this whole time. This book is way too clever. Way too clever for Ben Percy to be doing all by himself. This feels very Hickman edited, very Hickman written. And then the last book that I do want to talk about before I let you guys go, we have Devil's Reign, number 5 and 6. It's by Chip Zdarsky, Marco Cicchetto. Mara just became a straight up villain now. Wish they could have built it up more, but at least we're getting forward movement on these damn plot lines. I agree with that 100%. Everything's going to be coming full circle. So when Hickman ever comes back, now there's stuff to actually play with. There's actually stuff to move forward. We got stuff to talk about now. And that's what's really dope about what's going on with the X-Men. That was right number 5. This is the penultimate issue. This book was crazy. So Wilson Fisk, he knows who Daredevil is. He knows who Daredevil is. So now he is on a rampage. He is going to kill Matt Murdock, right? John Walker is doing John Walker. He is just being the douchebag that he is at this point, right? So John Walker is still fighting. We see a lot of the champions out there on the streets. We see a lot of our heroes kind of fighting the Thunderbolts who are trying to arrest them because Fisk made it illegal for them to operate. Abomination is also fighting them, so they have to pull back and retreat. And Kilgrave has manipulated the whole city. So all these innocent people, so of course they can't do anything now. Devil's Reign was really good, and Kingpin is going down to number 6. Abomination is part of the Thunderbolts. Was crazy. Dude, I'm with that 100%. 100%. So we flip over to Butch, who is Kingpin's son. He is the new Kingpin of crime, right? Kind of the crime leader. And we have Matt Murdock, who is not really real. You got to read that annual from a while back to understand. He has this like magical gem that has been keeping him going. And him and Butch get in an argument. So he goes back to get that gem, which is like kind of not really like a failsafe. But we see Wilson Fisk entering his end game. He kicks out Doc Ock, who I think is going to end up being a big player in the next issue. And we see Wilson Fisk now knowing who Matt Murdock is. He knows he's Daredevil, but what he doesn't know is that Mike Murdock, his brother, they're 2 different people. So when he goes back to his apartment now in Daredevil 1 Without Fear, it was teased that Matt Murdock died. Right? Everyone thinks Matt Murdock is dead, but in reality, Kingpin goes back and he kills he kills Mike Murdock, thinking that is the real Matt Murdock, right? And we were just seeing the takeover in New York City. We're seeing Kilgrave having that effect on all of the innocents, and Kingpin just brutalizes, destroys Mike, and so we really see what that is doing to him. So in the last issue, we're going to see the downfall of him. He doesn't know that Daredevil is still alive. He thinks that he's dead, and he just beats the crap out of him. So that's where we're left off. I love this book, man. I'm super excited for this. Everyone's saying that Daredevil is going to get killed off. I'm not with that because there's still that prophecy at the end that we have to address when they relaunch the title after this. I'm really excited for this book. As always, you guys, let me know in the comments. What are you guys reading? What are you guys reading? What are you guys excited for this coming week? I think I've mapped out my pull list. I think I have like 12 books I'm pulling this week. I know it's going to be a light week. I have a con that I'm going to this weekend, so I'm excited about that. Just finished reading Uncanny X-Force, which was a great read. I'm in the middle of this Batman Omnibus by Paul Dini as Detective Comics, so I've got a lot on my plate reading-wise. Tomorrow we're going to be live with Steve Orlando. He's a good friend of the show, so I'm excited. Ronald, I will see you this Saturday. All things, I'll be seeing you this Saturday, brother. I'm super excited. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight to Weekly Wrap Up. Catch us live every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Also coming out on the channel Wednesday, Steph and I for Crisis on Infinite Rants. We are doing our top 5 Star Wars movies with Obi-Wan. With Obi-Wan coming out, we're going to be doing our top 5 Star Wars movies. That's going to be a lot of fun. That comes out Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So a new time slot. Be on the lookout for that. Eric says, I think Matt's going to make some bad decisions in issue 6 of Devil's Reign. Who knows? Maybe he'll treat this. See you again, BJ. See you again, brother. And next week we will have Bryce. The books that I'm getting this week, Avengers 54, Laz Wolverine, Carnage. I'm excited for Carnage, Nightwing 90, the Batman. Yeah, I'm super excited for Batman, Superman World's Finest. I can also announce that April 15th, Mark Waid will be on the channel as well. So we got that to look forward to. We have some amazing guests that are going to be on the show in April. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, share it out, all that good stuff. Big things are coming for this channel, you guys. I'm so excited for you guys to see all the work that we put in here. Really appreciate you guys. Take care. Have a great rest of your week.